If you're in the beauty industry, you're going to want to keep listening. Welcome to Salon After Hours, where the tips are on trend, the gossip is hot, and the advice is cutting edge. Grab your tea because we are about to spill it.
Hello there, and thank you so much for tuning into
Salon After Hours.
Today I have a very, very special guest on, and her name is Nicole Ruiz, owner of Jet 65 Salon. So why is she so special to me is back in the day when I first started, we met at a rental salon that we both worked at in Castro Valley, which was a beautiful place. And so since then, we've grown in different ways. And so we're going to get into that today.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I am the owner of Jet 65 Beauty at jet65.beauty on Instagram.
Okay. Yay.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. We're very excited to chat with you and learn your guys' history together and where you guys have grown. I know you guys kind of there's just a lot of things that have happened. So let's kind of get into it, share a little bit about yourself and who you are and, about your business and what you're working on.
Oh, perfect. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be here too. It's really special that you and I started on our journey too. And then seeing us both in Pleasanton is pretty awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Literally like a block away from each other.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
We've grown, I feel like, so beautifully,
Yes.
So let's get into that though. So when we met years and years ago, what year was that? Probably like 2013, 2014.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe 2014.
Maybe 2012.
Well, we knew each other from high school.
That's true.
So we really want to bring it all the way back before this. Like, we went to high school together.
Yes.
She was a grade above me. So we go really back actually,
Way
if we want to
back.
go further than that, which is really fun.
Yes.
And then we both went into beauty school. Like I said, she was a year older than me, so she did go a year before me.
Yeah.
And then she started at a salon in Castro Valley.
Yes.
And then I basically started at that same salon, and we made friendships that have lasted forever now.
Yes.
So that's where we started.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it was
you guys
really
were
fun.
like together, and then you guys kind of, went away, and then now you guys are back together.
Yes.
That's
And
really cool.
we've gone to like hair shows and stuff together too.
Okay,
did an education. I was an educator too for
Yes.
Kevin Murphy. And my first class was teaching at Bree's Salon, which was so
how
special.
cool.
Yeah.
I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to mess up. She was
But
like,
you did
you're going to be
amazing.
fine.
Fun.
Yeah. So it was just all the little baby steps. And then
Yeah.
being here is just, it's truly amazing.
Oh,
Very lucky.
we're really excited to have you. But share a little bit about your business and your salon and kind of, how that started.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. How did it start? I wanted the beginning.
Yeah, so I want to say, it was pre-pandemic, which was kind of wild.
Wild.
Opening up a business, yeah. So I was behind the chair for a solid, I want to say like 6 years or 7 years, and I just started thinking to myself, my clientele was really strong and really good, and I was making really good money. I was living out of the house and all of that, but I felt like I wanted more, I was like, okay, like I'm doing really well, I'm creating a savings, I'm traveling, I'm doing all this stuff, but like, what do I actually want to do with my career? And I feel like when I went into the salon, it was very focused on cuts, colors, what we our bread and butter pretty much behind the chair. But when I really reflected, I was like, I love doing weddings and I love doing photo shoots and I love just the reaction of changing someone's look within like an hour or two and just seeing how happy it makes them with hair and makeup. It's very powerful. So I felt like being behind the chair wasn't really getting the makeup experience that I wanted to. So I actually went to Blush School of Beauty in San Francisco and took an airbrush class and took different theater techniques and started really getting into that. And then I realized, okay, what can I do for a business that can do everything, or I could do cuts and colors behind the chair still, but do something a little bit more extra. And so one day it was actually kind of a breakdown moment. Like I was kind of in a darker place and I was like, what am I going to do? Like, what is my goal? Like, what am I doing with my life? Like that kind of thing that when we
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
like when you start to kind of reflect on it. And what I did, and I highly suggest anyone doing this, like if they're struggling or not sure what they want to do, I wrote down everything I like not even just within the career, but just in general. So I wrote very simple stuff. Like I love old cars. I love antiques. I love vintage stuff. I love decorating. I love creating a space. I love hosting parties and events and that kind of stuff. Holidays, like just really detailed, and just wrote it all down. Love traveling, love doing all that. And then when I put it all together, I was like, okay, what is something that I can do that is event focused and that is wedding focused, and where I can still do whatever I want, but not be locked in a certain situation? Because at the time I just wasn't ready for that. So then I just started looking up like traveling salon or traveling mobile unit, and I saw that it's actually a thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is awesome. And I saw actually an Airstream salon in Colorado or something that did just weddings, and they turned the whole Airstream into just for weddings. And I was like, this is so
amazing,
unique and like niche. And yeah, I really wanted to do something like that. So
still antique, but which you're in your list, you're still incorporating
traveling.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, what are things that make me happy? Like genuinely bring me joy, and how can I make money off of that? Because I think that's truly the dream, right? Is doing something you love, but while making a living. And so started looking up Airstreams because I love the vintage stuff. It's like, if it's going to be a trailer, it's going to be a vintage one.
Has to be mandatory.
Yeah. So I actually found a little one that was like a 1969. It was super small. And of course, I bought it, was going to do everything, state board, legit, like the next month, because I checked it all before I bought it. Yeah. And before I did renovations, I checked it again, and they totally changed the rules, saying it has to be a minimum of 24 feet. It has to have like this much water.
So the original one you bought, you had to get rid of?
Yeah. I had to sell
I didn't
it.
know that. Oh, what?
Yeah, I had a cute, tiny one. I was
so
doing all the
cute.
renovations myself. Like, I was really into it. And then luckily, before I sent it to the professional who did my new one, I looked at the list again. I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to get a new one. Like I can't do, it's not approved. All that stuff, right? So that was like, it was a lot. So getting that, selling it, and this was all pre-pandemic. Like literally, I think this was like 2019, end of 2019. So it was getting to,
getting to the rough
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's the
dark
forbidden
times.
years.
Exactly. So once I sold that, I sold it, and then I got the new one. Okay. And actually the guy who was going to renovate it from had one that was 24 foot. So I ended up renovating it and doing all of that. And I actually locked in with him to do it according to state board, do everything right, all the legality stuff. And it was so difficult because nobody knew what they were talking about, like an Airstream trailer salon, what? Like the approvals and permit, all of that. It was like nothing like I've ever experienced before, but it was good. It was good to learn and to like kind of figure out how to overcome obstacles like that, because it is so unique. And then once I gave it to him to work on, we got on to shut down. So I couldn't work on it or do anything on it for like a year. And it was just sitting there, and I was just like stressing out. I was like, oh my God, is this the right thing? Like, I don't know. But during that time, I was able to actually get super intentional with like what I wanted, So thought about the idea, thought about like what I wanted to do with it, and connect with wineries and, other locations, and kind of figure out like what I want to do with that. So it gave me time.
I was
but
like,
it was
the time
a struggle
for the planning. I mean, you got like a very nice set aside time that you could just really go through and be like, what is my vision here?
Yes.
Which is nice, because maybe it would have turned out a little bit different if you would have just like dove into it. So it was much more intentional.
It was intentional, and it gave me plenty of time. And then too, during the pandemic, I was able to do more makeup looks on myself, and that really like bumped up. Like that bumped up kind of a different clientele too, and get really creative. So it all worked out how it did, but the Airstream was definitely the catalyst, I feel like. For the salon
this whole
now.
Business plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, it's beautiful. I love it. I still love being in there. Every time I'm in there, I'm just so happy. I'm like, this is like so unique and beautiful. And I've taken brides in there. I've done weddings and a lot of photo shoots, which is fun. And it's such a beautiful piece too, that like people could even just be in front of it, and it's like a whole scene.
So pretty.
Yeah, it's
I want to like touch on the name, because I know the name has significance. So you're it's called Jet 65, correct? So tell us the significance of that name.
So the name, I was definitely struggling with trying to figure out a name, and I wanted something that could be timeless. I didn't want something that was super focused on a salon. Like I was like, in case, I want to shift it or do something different. So I wanted something that was retro sounding. I wanted something that was in movement, like motion, kind of like jet setting, right?
Okay.
But I didn't even think about it like that. I was just in the car one day and I was driving, and I'm pretty sentimental. Like most of the things I do are like meaningful or have a good, strong foundation behind it. And I was thinking in the car, and all of a sudden, my grandparents and I were very close, and they passed away in 2014, I believe. And I was just thinking about them and like family and like just family names. And it came to me that their license plate, and my grandpa was huge into cars. So my love for cars and like old cars and muscle cars are from him. Like he
so
loved
sweet.
doing it, and he was always like big on his cars. So but their license plate was Jet, because it's Jerome, my grandpa's name, and then Thelma. So it's like they did it together. So it was Jet, and then theirs was 45. That was the year that they were married.
Okay.
So my Airstream's in 1962. So I changed it to be like a morph of it, kind of.
Oh.
So instead of 62 or 45, I did 65, because it just had like a nice ring to it. So
Wait, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so sentimental and so
I
special.
know.
yes, yeah,
Oh,
it's very
man.
sweet. And so and my grandpa was my biggest cheerleader. Like he was always, and my grandma came from a line of beauticians. Like they had a shop in Iowa during the Great Depression, and they always like survived. They were like a family of barbers too. So it's definitely
your
runs
bloodline.
deep. Yeah,
It's
it
in your
runs
blood.
deep. Yes.
So now you're saying, so when did Jet 65 take its first pull behind your car? Like what year was that then?
So when we brought it there, so when we brought it, so I got it worked on in Benicia. It's called Avalon RV. Highly recommend. They're great.
Okay.
If you ever need trailer work, or he's an Airstream specialist. So he knew
Awesome.
all, because you would think like, oh, it's an Airstream, like it's like a house, we can renovate it whichever way. But they're so tricky.
I can't even imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, they're super tricky. The way that they're curved and like being in motion, like you have to kind of think about that kind of stuff when you're doing renovations. So he was amazing. He updated a lot of the stuff that needed to be updated. But the first one was driving it to Benicia, and and I'm kind of the type, like, I do get nervous, but I love to drive too. I'm like, driving doesn't worry me, but everyone was telling me when I had this idea, oh my gosh, how are you going to drive that thing? Oh my gosh, you're going to tow that? Who's going to tow it for you? I'm like, I'm going to do it. Like, what?
I could do this.
Yeah, I was like, this is so much fun. But I actually love driving it. That's one of my favorite parts about it. But driving over the bridge, we didn't have sway bars yet, which are just kind of, keep
Help
it nice
keep it
and
aligned.
Yeah, so it was just the little, hitch. And it was pretty scary. It was like,
Oh gosh.
Especially that
Yeah.
Benicia Bridge, because I just feel like it's open, just wind. Like,
yeah, it's like a tunnel
terrifying,
almost.
yeah.
It's like all the wind and you feel it. So that was a little scary, but honestly, like, and then I brought it there and we would test drive it. We'd practice backing up, parking. I had my friend's dad, who's a firefighter. He helped me learn how to park it. And honestly, it was so much fun. Like that is one of my favorite things about it, is driving it and
Yeah.
parking
you can maneuver
it. It's cool.
it.
Yeah,
get it,
it's on
girl.
wheels. Yeah.
Okay, so then Jet 65. When was the first time you took a client? So you said you started renovating it in 2020. Mm-hmm. So then when was it ready?
I don't think I got it until 2022. It was
wow.
I think it was in the new year of 2022, kind of when, like, after, things were lifted. Cause
So it took 2 years to get it like all revamped.
yes.
And then it got back to you in 2022.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So my first client, let me think back. I believe it was for, oh my gosh, I have to think. I can't even remember. I think it was probably my cousin Chelsea. She's always my model. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Chelsea's my go-to model for
She was
everything.
born to be your model.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I did like a photo. Oh, no. Yeah, it was one of my clients. It was my client. I wanted to use her as a model.
Okay.
And we did it all full in there as if like it was a paying client. I just did it, you know, for experience and for free. And she loved it. And we took photos with it. It was so cute and it was amazing. And it definitely took a while to get used to.
Yeah.
Like again, like kind of what we were talking about before, like it takes a while to kind of see how things go. So when I first had it, it's very different than how I have it now. Yeah. It's a lot more simplified. Like I have my kit now really easy and accessible. But yeah, it was fun. We did like an avant-garde kind of like pearl look on her makeup and did a high bun, like kind of a vintage like 60s style bun.
That's cool.
So yeah. And then my first paying like wedding was my friend Courtney, and that was really amazing. And she had like a Harley theme too, so we had the motorcycles with the Airstream.
Cool.
People were there taking photos with it all night. Like it was lit up. It was another place to hang out.
That's so
it was
cute.
really cool.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Yes.
So then you are, you know, working now at this moment, you're working doing the mobile with your trailer, and then you're working in the salon still.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So you're still in Castro Valley working at a salon, and you're doing your mobile.
No, in Pleasanton at the new space.
Oh, wait. When did you, no, you were doing trailer with Ray Talbot, no?
Oh, I was.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, you're saying back then.
So back then,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So
Yeah.
back then you're still behind the chair, and now are you
Yes.
behind the chair full time because you're starting out your mobile business here.
Yes.
So how did that juggle work?
So I actually, ironically, weirdly, went part-time before the pandemic. So like right before the pandemic, I was like, I'm going to go part-time, like kind of just give myself more time.
Re-gear.
And, yeah, kind of restructure. I was like behind the chair. Like
you were there a lot when I was there.
Yeah,
so.
like 5 to 6 days a week, like fully booked, double booked. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. So restructured my whole thing and went part-time.
Okay.
In which it did kind of phase out clients a little bit, but it made up for it, like my restructuring and everything. But so I went part-time before the pandemic. And then when I went back, I remained part-time. So 3 days behind the chair. And then weekends, I was doing the Airstream. But it did become quite a bit. So that's why this new baby
I was going to
formed.
see. So then how did that go into now your storefront
Yes.
in Pleasanton?
Yes.
What made you decide Pleasanton? What made you decide to finally, you know, get a little storefront? Do you
Yes.
still do Jet? Like how is it all now?
Yeah.
structured?
So I decided to, I guess the biggest thing was around the holidays. Like I noticed that I was getting a lot of people wanting holiday looks or, you know, for Christmas or New Year's, and the Airstream, because it's a trailer, you know, isn't the best in that kind of weather. Like people aren't going to be wanting to walk back and forth in the rain to come get their hair, makeup, and then have to leave. You know, I realized that it's definitely seasonal. So when I was doing that, I was like, okay, like, you know, I'll do the Airstream seasonally and then work in the salon more in the winter.
Got it.
But I just wasn't getting, like, weddings just boomed. Like when I did the Airstream, weddings completely boomed, and I was out of the salon more. And
I feel like that's what you're mostly like known for too, is now your weddings.
Yes. Yeah. And like I love doing makeup, styling, all of that. So I felt, and I love to do cuts and colors too. It's just, it's not, like Jet was definitely based in that, in events, you know? So when it was growing, I was noticing that was more so growing.
And kind of your passion, because if you go back to that paper you wrote, it was like traveling, it was events.
Yes, exactly. So when I kind of noticed that it was getting a little bit bigger, I was like, okay, like being at the salon, it's just different when you're in a big salon doing like intimate like makeup services for a bride or a wedding trial. Like it's just very different. And so having the Airstream, it was amazing for that. But with the Airstream is also like physical labor of like plugging it in every time and like making sure the battery's going and like turning everything on and like the physical labor of like emptying the tanks and stuff. Like there's just a lot that goes into it, which is fair. Like when you're doing an event, it makes sense. But like when you're taking people at the Airstream versus like a storefront or a salon, it's just not easy rolling. Like, oh, I can just pop in and do this and leave. It's like a whole system.
Yeah.
And I just was realizing like this is wonderful during the summer season or spring or even fall.
Yeah.
But doing it during like for anything, it was very select. Like it was like, okay.
You just wanted a more private space to be able to service these clients.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and I can see that.
yeah. And so I was like, I think I want to. So it was funny. It's like went backwards, right? Like I was like, okay, this is such a niche thing. And now I'm like, oh, I actually want to have a place where I can do everything. Like I want to be able to do cuts and colors again. And like, I like spa like stuff too. So I wanted to have a place that could have like other services like massage or facials or skincare, like kind of interchangeable in that sense. But being able to take brides and like close the salon if I wanted to and have it more of like that type of thing, or photo shoots all year round, you know? So the Airstream's kind of like that bonus, like that fun, like, on location services, like right at your venue or your door. But then we also have the place in Pleasanton where it's like if you're local and like, you know, wanting to go there, we can do everything. Yeah. I even did a bride this year, was my dream. Like this was my dream. She came and we did a cut color for her wedding. We did her wedding trial and her makeup trial all within the day at the new space.
Amazing.
Like that is like kind of what I pictured. I was like, I want to have a full functioning
Like
space.
you want to get somebody ready from A to Z.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I
exactly.
can, that's nice.
Yeah, and that's kind of the goal. Like that's what I
was
would
your
love
vision.
to bring in. Yeah, is more so like a full makeover, not just, you know, popping in for like here and there, or, you know, having the Airstream only for my brides or my, you know, photo shoots, things like that. I want to have a place where we can do everything. Like full
you probably also feel a
transformation.
little more organized. You don't feel like so spread out.
Yes,
right?
that was really hard. Like that, it was nice because everything's kind of local, you know, but I moved to San Ramon and it was just a lot of back and forth.
nice.
So, I was like, I need something that's just everything in one, you know?
For sure.
Yes.
So how do you like being in Pleasanton? I know that you built your clientele in Castro Valley.
Yes.
Even though you were jetting around in your trailer everywhere.
Yes.
You know, mobily. But then how was the jump coming over to Pleasanton and how are you liking it?
It was good. I will say Pleasanton with their business, they're just so much more open. Like they're very like, oh, let's help you. Like you're a part of the downtown. Like we'll advertise. Like they're very business friendly. And I really liked that because dealing with the Airstream in certain areas was there's a lot of resistance, you know, trying to get like approved for certain things, and it was just different. So being a part of Pleasanton, they're very business focused, which I think a lot of times we don't think about when looking for a new space. Like as a business owner, you're kind of like, oh, it'll be fine no matter where you go.
Yeah.
But I do think it's important to like look up the city or the area and see like how they are with businesses. Like, are they welcoming? Are they promoting? That kind of thing. So I do love that, and I'm learning more too. Like I've lived in Castro Valley my whole life, but being in Pleasanton, I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that this was an option, or oh, this is a really cool spot. So I'm like still learning and still getting out there and like connecting with people, and it's definitely different, but I love it. Like I do feel very supported.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that you're a block away from me.
I know. It's so sweet.
So in your space, how you said it was private, how many rooms, or is there like stations? Like kind of describe the layout that you have.
So you walk in, it's pretty intimate. So it doesn't have like it's not like how do I explain it? Street access in that sense. Like it's not like where you walk in right from the street. You kind of have to go through a hallway. It's a suite. So you go through the hallway and you go into my little suite.
Okay.
But when you walk in, it's an open floor in the front.
Okay.
And it's where my reception is, little couch, vintage, of course. Most everything in there is thrifted or antiques.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you walk in, it's like the little welcome area. And then I have one station that is available for rent. It's open for a stylist or a barber. But it's a part of kind of the main opening, but it's still just one station. So it's kind of private in that way, but like there's still access to the rest of the salon.
Okay, awesome.
And then I have a room that is for color, drinks, beverages, and also shampooing. So I made it very private, very zen. That's kind of what I was picturing. Yes. Each room has a different theme, to be quite honest.
Okay, I like
because you know I love my
that.
decorating, so
Yeah.
each one has to have a different vibe. And then I have the room that's my studio. So I actually just switched this over.
Okay.
A dream came to me, and I was like, we have to change it.
Okay.
But I made my studio kind of the one with the window. It's a really big, pretty window, but it gives light to the rest of the space.
Okay.
But I made that my studio where I have makeup and hair, because before it was just makeup, and I decided let's just have everything in there for me. So it's makeup, hair, where I do brides or my clients, like cuts and colors. And then I have 2 back rooms. So the 2 back rooms, I have one that's open completely for renting right now.
Okay.
I have a woman that pops in and does energy services, which is awesome. Also a part of my list.
Okay. I love that.
Yes. And then the other room is partially rented, but I'm still looking for a renter in there. But it's more like equipped for massage, skincare, any body work or waxing even too. So more esthetician or body stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's 2 rooms available to rent, 1 open floor for a station, and then my space.
Okay. Oh my God! Wow, that's such a nice little layout. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
It's
I'm
really
envisioning
nice.
it. I have to come see it.
Yes.
honestly.
Yes. Please do. Yes.
Okay, so you're looking for 2 people to rent a room and 1 station rental.
Yes.
Okay, that is good to know.
Yes.
Okay, so for these
yes.
followers and listeners, like if you are in downtown Pleasanton and you're a stylist, or it sounds like even a masseuse or a waxer or a lash girl
Yes.
or, all of the things that come under beauty, Nicole has space for you. And it's vintage and it's cute. And I personally know her, and she's like the best person ever. And I honestly, ever since I was, we grew up actually in the same town, but you're definitely a leader. So I'm really
Oh.
excited to see you lead a team and, you all your positivity. Like, I'm so excited to watch this flourish even more, because I feel like this was your destiny, was to have your own space and to
Yes.
lead. So
Oh, thank you. That like really makes me feel good.
yeah, no, for real. It's like, I'm serious. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's different for sure, but it feels right. Like
Yeah.
when I did my Airstream, even just being in there, it felt right.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, if I could give advice to people, to like do what feels right. Like all the other stuff, the legalities, the, stress, the money, all of that, like it will fall into place even during stressful times, but you have to really follow that drive and that need of feeling like I need to do something or something needs to change.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of time we suppress it of fear, or people get scared and they'll try to suppress it for you.
Yeah. No, seriously.
So it is, you have to take the leap. You have to. And it's, no matter what, you'll overcome it. And even if it fails or if things don't turn out the way that it goes, like, or how you envisioned, it will always be able to be reworked and restructured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some good advice.
Yeah, it's very inspiring, and it sounds like, you've done a lot. You've pushed through, like, COVID and different obstacles, I'm sure, in life. And, I love the fact that you tried to relate your career to still your personal, likes and dislikes and things like that. And that's so awesome. And, that's literally the dream.
Yes. And it sounds simple, but I just don't think we do it enough. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I think we separate things like, oh, well, this is just work. This is just, but at the end of the day, like, that's how you are successful, is doing what you love and like really focusing on that. And then thinking like, well, how can this excel and how can I bring an abundance from doing this, But you've always been passionate too. Like, I feel like we've always been very passionate about this from a very early age. And so it really is like, and it's ever changing. That's what I love about the industry too. Like, you can change things on a dime,
Yeah. And the beauty industry is so like big. You could do anything in it almost,
Yes.
But I will say we're both very passionate people since the very beginning.
Yes. Because you gotta put the work in too.
A lot of work.
Yes. It's a lot. It's a competitive place too. And like, and even just doing something as different as the Airstream, like it was a struggle to kind of explain to people the concept.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, is it a salon? What do you mean?
Well,
Like,
some people don't vision well, right?
Exactly.
Because some people like I know literally somebody that's like, I can't envision something.
yes.
Like, I need to see it.
yes.
So it really depends too. Some
It
people
does.
can't really have an
Exactly.
imagination.
Yes. And so I think that's part of being a leader, or even just the way that my mind works. Like, I feel like I do kind of think differently or do things very different. And so I think something like that, it's like, no matter what happens with it, it was like a great catalyst or an inspiration. And that's really what I try to be, is more of an inspiration for people, and I really do. I'm excited to bring in a team that is excited to kind of learn and be inspired, but also develop their skills like as an artist, and like how they want to create is kind of like the environment that I would like to provide for, the industry for sure.
Well, you got to manifest it. And
Yes.
I know you're manifesting, you're visioning it, it's coming.
100%.
That's really cool.
Yeah. But I feel like anybody that works at your space is going to be like very lucky because she is going to be she is a wonderful owner. And so she's looking for her team. So they're coming.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
What is a dream that you have for, because I know you're a little dreamer, for Jet? Like what's something you can share with the listeners that like you'd like to achieve or what you see or like in the future? Like give us something.
Oh, okay. Well, the first thing that just came to mind, something with like, how do I explain? Like showy. Like so honestly, when I was making my mood board, I was like, I want this to look like a burlesque like stage.
Yeah.
Honestly, which is so funny because I'm like, that's not typical for like a salon, right? But I was like, I want to bring in romance and like, I don't know, expression and I don't know, like theatrical things. Like I do love that. But I'm not sure how that would portray in the salon. That's what I'm kind of like trying to figure out. But I definitely want to do something that's like event or
maybe like we can like collab and we can like do a fashion show.
Yes,
or
like a
something.
fashion show. That's kind of what I picture. Yes, thank you. You gave me the words.
Like yeah, I can see that.
I picture self-expression, like confidence, like bringing in women and doing different looks, like. You know, and I love era-inspired looks, so anything to kind of make it modern or expressive. So I think it would be really cool to do like a fashion show or collaborating with maybe like a local designer too and like doing something really cool and in the community. I think that's the thing too. I really want to bring more into the community and but yeah, anything that's like showbiz, let's go.
I love that. I love that.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Photo shoot, fashion show, performances, anything like that.
That's
So
really
theater, I always wanted to get into theater and I'm like, how can I kind of like make it all in
That
one?
makes so much
that's where the
sense.
creative stuff is kind of brewing right now, right? With the Airstream, it was kind of like the beginning, like, well, I like all this stuff, but how can I like, you know,
Incorporate it together.
Yes. So I think that's like my next, it's like this little like bubble in my space where it's like, you need to kind of tap into this. Like, so I would say that's probably what it is. Something along those lines.
I love it.
I know.
I
love
actually
it.
love
Very
it.
fun, very creative.
Yes. Yeah. And especially for like people in the industry too. Like we could do a cool thing for cosmetologists to just express their art on different models, but collaborating with like different lines in the area, local, things like that. I think that's super important.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. All right. Well, I think that concludes this amazing episode. So if you are a stylist in the Pleasanton area and you're looking for your next salon with a fabulous owner, it is going to be Jet 65 Nicole's Salon here. So thank you so much for listening in and joining us here. We'll see you again soon. Ciao.
Thank you.